give up and don't stop. And if they hear about a movement such as the Department of Peace, it really goes a long way. That's why I was really happy to have Mike here tonight. Our next speaker is Karen Parker. A lot of you probably know her. She's an attorney responsible for the NGOs at the UN. She represents NGOs, those are non-government organizations, aid organizations usually. She's the chief litigator on a lawsuit at the Organization of American States against the United States government for war crimes in Iraq and the use of illegal weapons in Iraq and Fallujah. So I'm very honored to introduce Karen Parker.
Hello, thank you all for coming here. I know time is of the essence and I really can't quite see you, but I want to ask you, how many of you saw on the front page, thank you, of the San Francisco Chronicle, the middle of November 2004, American soldiers attacking an Iraqi hospital? Hands? Was the front page of the San Francisco Chronicle. If you had seen that, what would you have thought you were looking at? Exactly. For anyone who knows anything about the Geneva Conventions, the whole purpose of the Geneva Conventions was to protect hospitals, clinics, doctors, patients, ambulances, medical supplies. And what did the United States do in Fallujah in 2004 in November? It attacked the hospitals, blew up the ambulances, attacked the clinics, got the doctors, and killed patients. How many of our members of Congress said one word? I should tell you, that photograph is also on the front page of the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Chicago Tribune, the LA Times, all around the country. How many members of Congress do you think said one word about an obvious display of a war crime in Fallujah? One.
Who?
Congressman McDermott in the state of Washington. He's a medical doctor himself. I have worked with him on a number of issues. He dared speak out, and he got a number of doctors in the state of Washington to join him in an op-ed piece in the Seattle newspaper. What a tragic thing to happen. Our members of Congress are sending our young men and women to Iraq. They are given orders which constitute war crimes. The evidence is not disputed. It's in photographs of all the national papers. And our members of Congress do not know the rules. They are sending your friends, your neighbors, our sons, our daughters into an armed conflict, and they don't know the rules. Lights again a little bit, please. How many of you knew that 10 years ago, next month, the United Nations expert human rights body found depleted uranium weapons illegal? One. Bravo. How many of you know that depleted uranium weapons are being used in Iraq now and have been all along? And you know what depleted uranium weapons do, I'm assuming. That you can't contain it to the field of battle, so someone in a school or hospital or in the next country breathes it in. You can't turn it off when the war is over, so we are perpetually at war with Iraq. The half-life is 4.2 billion years. Depleted uranium weapons attacks for children not yet born, but children of those exposed. It causes Gulf War syndrome. 40% of the United States troops from Iraq 1 are on partial to permanent disability. These are young men and women in the prime of life. They've been exposed to depleted uranium. Their children are being born with no arms. Imagine the Iraqis as well. Depleted uranium weapon has destroyed the environment of Iraq. It will always be hot. Yet, information about depleted uranium, information about war crimes, information about what our young men and young women are told to do every day is not only not known by our members of Congress, it's not in the major media. It is only the independent media, which is represented by what you will see here tonight, that gets this information even slipping through the cracks. We are a country that is now giving our young men and our young women a perpetual legal burden because they are asked to carry out orders that violate the Geneva Conventions using illegal weapons. Some of them are now refusing service because of this. We need to make sure those who are refusing service are given the support they need and the information about why they are refusing to serve is available. We need to make sure our members of Congress know when they're running this campaign this fall that we're going to hold them accountable for knowing the rules of war if we've got our young men and women in a war. I hope you will dig deep tonight to support the independent media, which is the only source of information about the real truth of the legality and illegality, mostly illegality, of U.S. military operations and weapons in Iraq. Democracy is the hardest form of government. It requires us to be informed. We can't be informed with our major media. Our only way of knowing is the independent media. We must support the independent, unembedded media. And I hope you all join me in digging deep and honoring the journalists that have brought this kind of information through these films and their actions. Thank you very much.